Hi y'all, and welcome back to the garden. So today's exciting because I'm going to be doing a local giveaway for my local viewers. I posted this on Instagram this weekend and someone asked, well, how local? As local as you want to drive. We're going to meet somewhere neutral like a Menards or something around Miamisburg or Mason or somewhere around in there. So if you live between Dayton and Cincinnati, feel free to enter this contest. If you don't live near Dayton or Cincinnati, that's perfectly fine, but I'm not shipping these things. So the rules of the contest will be below. I'm going to be giving away a few of the shrubs that I am going over today. I don't know how many yet, so if you enter, I'll select a winner. There'll be an option to pick which choice of shrub you want, and then I will select them and give each person their choice until we run out, and that'll be it. So interesting how this situation arrived. In the winter of last year, or maybe late fall, I posted on my Instagram story a beautiful, like, New England hydrangea hedge with some, I think they were probably blue hydrangeas against a home. And I was like, this is something I really long for here, because you know it's kind of difficult here to grow macrophyllus because the buds dying over winter. And I had a guy who follows me on Instagram named Ryan who reached out to me, and he was like, I can make that happen. Ryan and his family own Bailey Nursery, and he is the spokesperson for Bailey. And he recently wrote a book called Field Guide to Outside Style, and he is the spokesperson for Endless Summer Hydrangeas, First Edition Shrubs, and Easy Elegance Roses. And so he was like, I can send you some new hydrangeas for you to try out in your garden. And he was like, what would you like? And I was like, well, there's a new hydrangea on the market this year called Pop Star. I will put some pictures on the screen. It's supposed to be incredibly quick at reblooming as a macrophylla. And so I think I've heard him talk about it before, and it's as soon as like 4 weeks. If the buds are killed off, it will start producing new blooms. So it reblooms throughout the summer, which is wonderful. It can change colors to pink and blue depending on the soil conditions. And it is a more open face, like macrophylla style, like a lace cap bloom. I'll show you a picture on the screen of its various blooms, and it is just wonderful. It's a nice small hydrangea, I guess like 1 to 2 foot tall and wide. And it will just be a great thing to tuck at the front of borders or to create a tiny short hedge out of. While he was at it, he was like, are there anything else you want? And I was like, you know, I really love the BloomStruck. I have had it rebloom in my garden pretty well. All of the BloomStrucks in my garden happen to come as discount plants because they were suffering at Home Depot. Home Depot was the worst at caring for their plants for some reason. So all of my BloomStrucks I have in my garden are still catching up and enjoying some TLC and getting better. But BloomStruck has really beautiful, like, red looking stems and turns almost a purpley blue to like a pink as well. And so I'll take you up here and show you where I planted all of these things, but I'm gonna have a hedge of BloomStruck, and in front of that a hedge of Pop Star in front of the windows of my home. But he also sent out some other plants that I had a look at of all the options on their website. One of them is called Lotus Moon, and it is a Pearlbush. I don't have any of those to give away. I've already given some of them away to my friends, and I planted one myself. It produces a ton of white blooms in the spring and is one of the most beautiful shrubs in their collection. And then we have another hydrangea called Little Hottie, which is a paniculata hydrangea that gets 3 to 5 foot tall and wide. So it's a nice paniculata. Anyone can stick anywhere. And I actually have quite a few of those I'm going to be giving away. I think he sent 10, and I haven't even got one planted yet, but there'll be probably at least, I would say 8 of those, because I'm going to stick 1 or 2 somewhere. So that's the potential for a lot of people to win, or for one person to get several if they wanted to make a small hedge. There's another plant called Cobalt-N-Blue Hypericum, which is a St. John's wort. You know, I've been really into foliage this past season, past year, and it is a beautiful foliage plant that can tuck nicely with other plants that are like yellow. Its foliage is very, very kind of clearly blue, kind of like that sagey color that you find, and it blooms in spring with yellow flowers like all the other St. John's worts do pretty much. And I have planted several of those in my garden. I have several more of those to give away as well. And the last one, which I'm really excited about, and I've already planted one in the garden, and I'll show you where I have that, is a new Ninebark that's coming out this year called Lucky Devil. They have several Ninebarks already. One of them I think is called Little Devil, and it stays smaller. It's a smaller variety of Ninebark, because Ninebarks can get enormous. Lucky Devil has yellow foliage. And I've never seen a Ninebark with yellow foliage, and you know I love yellow in the garden. And so I planted one of those up front. And let me tell you, when these came in, he's like, these will be bare root plants. And I was like, okay, you know, I can plant these and let them grow on for a few years and move them around if the design changes or the plants get too big. These were the biggest plants that I was not expecting as bare root. Here's one of them right here. Like, this is an entire shrub. This is the Ninebark. These did come from Minnesota. It's much colder there. They were field dug and sent to me. So they're still very much dead on top. But now that it's in a warmer climate, and I put them in these raised beds for now because they are bare root, it will start leafing out here soon and pushing some buds, which is really nice. These are the Star Hydrangeas that I'll be giving away. So there's one here and one here. I have two of those to give you. They're already pushing some growth. I planted all of the BloomStruck because I needed enough of them for a hedge, and I really like that variety. This is the little hottie, so I'm going to be planting a few of these myself and giving the rest of the way. This is the Cobalt-N-Blue Hypericum. You can see that color there, very sagey blue-green color. And that is it. So details to win this will be in the description. I'm going to be hosting this on my own website because giving away on YouTube or Instagram is really difficult, and contacting the people are really difficult. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to post a link to my website. It's called 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which I announced last year. It's where I have some blogs, which I have not done any more blogs since I announced it. Keeping up with YouTube enough when you have a full-time job is pretty difficult, but there'll be an entry form through a plugin called RafflePress, just so I'm giving you all the details so nothing looks suspicious. I will pin the comment below where that goes, and it will likely be in the description. You'll need to fill out the form, and we will probably meet this coming Saturday or Sunday. I will send everyone who wins an email and let them know where they can come pick it up, and then you need to be there when the time I say, because if you're not, then I'm just going to bring them back home. I can't schedule a giveaway and meet a bunch of people randomly. Although I'd like to, I don't have the time with all the weeds that I got to pull to do that. So it'll probably be at a big box store or a local garden center where I can give those away quickly, because I'll need to pull them. Since these are bare roots, they will not be in containers. You'll also need to be able to put them in the ground probably the same day, or at least pot them up in a container if you don't have anywhere to put them in the ground immediately. Now, you'll fill out that form. I will contact you if you're a winner. There'll probably be a first choice and then an alternate choice, and maybe a third alternate, because I have several here that if you don't get what you want, or if someone enters and is drawn first, you can get an alternate plant. I'll need you to respond within 24 hours to that email. If you do not respond, you will be disqualified, and I'll move on to someone else, because this has to happen pretty quickly. I can't be sitting around waiting for people to respond. So understand that you need to respond to that email quickly. Type your email address correctly. A few times I've got the wrong person, or the person put in the incorrect email address, and then I can't send the email out to them. And you'll also need, when you enter your information, you'll get an email saying that you entered, and you'll need to click that link and verify your entry, just to make sure you got the email. You're a real person that is entering this. If you don't verify your email, you're not eligible to win, and you will not be selected by the plugin system that picks the winners randomly. So I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It just makes it easier for us who do giveaways to make sure that the person winning them is an actual person, and they are going to pick up and do everything that I need them to do to get these plants. I'm going to take you around and show you the ones I have already planted in the ground so far. So I recently showed you in a video moving the little giants out of here, or at least told you I moved them out of here and showed you where they were in the landscape. I got help moving this concrete container, which is so heavy, into the new location that it's going to be right between these 𝗍𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, kind of closer to the wall, that a bunch of annuals are going to go in. A huge centerpiece. It might be cannas, and then a lot of things that fill and spill from 𝗧𝗛𝗡𝗧. And I planted a hedge of BloomStruck and then a short hedge in front of that of the Star Hydrangeas. Now these are planted really close, and I wanted these to be planted really close because I want a huge blob of color right here. So I did a double layer of BloomStruck. So you can see I got 3 and then I got 2. So that's 5 here, and then I have 3 over there, odd numbers. And then the BloomStruck is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Total of 7 BloomStruck in this location. And I'm going to come through and mulch these. I did go ahead and come through and add drip irrigation, which this isn't the drip irrigation. This is the 1/4 inch that I generally recommend to add to your garden, but not all plants need as much water as hydrangeas do. And so I wanted these to be really successful, have plenty of water, so we're not having any issues with watering. I don't want them to burn. This is east facing, so it will not get any afternoon sun and be protected after lunch, but it will get quite a lot of sun in the morning. It's a little blocked by this spruce here, but it'll get a big, nice block of sun to hopefully keep these happy. I have all these hostas here that stay really happy as long as they have enough water. So I think these are perfect conditions along with these other hydrangeas that I added out here this season. And it should be enough to keep any annuals that I have there happy as well, because I usually have petunias on the porch there, and those are generally happy in this same spot. So this is what the hydrangeas are going to look like here, just a mass of color, different blooms. I come through and throw down a lot of soil acidifier because I would love for these to be blue this season. I have really high alkaline soil. It's really difficult to change hydrangea's color from anything to pink. We're going to give it a try. And now I need to come through and cover all of this with mulch because this bed is pretty much done. I'm going to leave these hostas, which I've trampled a little bit. I may have to cut some leaves off of them for right now. We'll see how they grow up this season and kind of mix with the hydrangeas. And if they're a bit too much, we have to move some of those out. I already moved some of them elsewhere because there were more hostas throughout here. But I think and I hope that this will be a really successful combination here. Now, as far as the other plants, I planted one of the Ninebarks right here. So it'll be a beautiful yellow accent next to these boxwoods that I planted and this Magnolia, this southern, what's called Bracken's brown Magnolia. And then right behind there, you'll see I planted one of the Lotus Moon Pearlbushes, and it's actually got buds on it. It came this way, but they've swollen really significantly since I put this in the ground and since I unboxed them. So I think it's going to bloom this year really wonderfully for me. And of course, all around here in the center will be lots of the annuals that I got from 𝗧𝗛𝗡𝗧 that will be delivered in another week, basically. And then I planted some of the Hypericum, the blue, Cobalt-N-Blue Hypericum right here as accents, which I think will be a striking foliage accent against the Fire Chief arborvitaes on either side here. Thinking about tucking another Cobalt-N-Blue right here, but I did have several of the alliums planted right there already and some of the astilbes, so I didn't want to have to dig those up because they're just now coming through really well. So I'll probably tuck some more of those Cobalt-N-Blue elsewhere in the landscape further in the back so they can have some nice backyard beauty as well. Another thing, I'm not going to leave this raffle going for probably except for the day that this video is released. I want to reward those that watch the videos quickly. So if you're watching this, you'll have a higher chance of winning than someone 2 or 3 days into it. So it will probably end pretty soonly, like 8 probably p.m. maybe, but those details will be below. So if you're watching this after the day it airs or the next day, you know, the raffle's gonna be closed. But it's kind of chilly today and it's actually getting kind of windy, so I don't know how much more I'll get accomplished today. I wanted to do quite a bit and I'm getting pretty cold. So I'm gonna try and see what else I can do today. I've already did quite a bit this morning, and then I think I'm gonna call it a day and see what I can get done in the afternoons throughout this week. Go edit this video so y'all can win some wonderful plants courtesy of First Edition Shrubs and Endless Summer Hydrangeas. Thank you so much, Ryan, for sending those out. They're gonna be lovely, I know it. And thank you guys for watching. And remember, in a world full of hate, be a light. Take care, everyone. Bye.